I am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Hey, welcome to another episode of Inspire. It is our first broadcast of 2025, and I'm so excited to be back with you. It is the kickoff for Black History Month. We are going to be talking about Black excellence all this month. We normally talk about Black excellence, but we're really going to focus on it this month. I am so happy to see you. As you are coming in, do me a great big favor. Share this episode with your family, with your friends. Tell them to come on and hang out with us on Inspire. I see you all coming in on Instagram. Listen, if you see me waving like this, hey, Instagram crew, Circle of Voices, thank you for joining us. Listen, as you are coming in, make sure that you shout yourself out. Let me know where you are watching from. We are live right now on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, LinkedIn, I think that's all the places. We wanted to go live on TikTok last year. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we are live right here, and we're so grateful that you are joining us. If you stumbled upon this broadcast and you don't know who I am, what this is about, I am Sue A. Webley. I am your host. I'm an author, producer, an award-winning minister, and the founder of Cara Solutions, which is a full digital service agency that helps individuals and organizations navigate the virtual space with confidence. And so Inspire is a live interview style broadcast that's on a mission to encourage, to empower, and embolden you who are watching right now on social media to create change in your personal lives, your communities, and in the world. And so as our amazing guests, and one is getting ready to join us in a minute, our amazing guests, as they share their testimonies, their tools, their tips with us, we hope that you are inspired to elevate your mindset, to pursue your dreams, and to do, as the late Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon put it so eloquently, the work your soul must have. Before we get into it, I want to be sure that you are connecting, following, liking, and subscribing. So please connect and follow. We are still on Facebook and Instagram for now. We'll see how long that lasts. We are joining other platforms like Blue Sky and stuff like that. And so be sure to make sure that you get that information. But for right now, give us a follow and Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can find out all about Inspire. You can join our mailing list, subscribe to our mailing list so that you are not missing anything that's happening with Inspire. You'll also be able to view all of our previous episodes. So if you've ever missed the episode of Inspire and you don't want to watch it on Facebook or on Instagram, you can head over to our website. All of our previous episodes are listed on our website. And so I want to invite you to go ahead and connect with us there. So listen, if you've been with us for any amount of time, I want to know, hey, Dr. Chella Belcher, how are you? So, I ask this question every time we are live. And so I want to know, man, listen, y'all didn't waste any time. I had to pause right there because I just saw a subscription come through. So thank you for subscribing to our newsletter. Listen, what are you sipping on this morning? If you know me, I always got a cup, and we are again talking about inspiring Black excellence all month. So I have my Inspire Black Excellence mug. What are you sipping on this morning? Is it coffee? Is it tea? Is it water? Is it orange juice, apple juice? Is it a smoothie? Is it something stronger? Listen, in times like these, we might need a little something stronger in our cup. And I'm not judging you. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Make sure you tell me what you were sipping on this morning as well. Do the same, Instagram. Do the same. I want to shout you out as well. So, I always have coffee in my cup. And I am not drinking mushroom coffee this morning, though I love it. So it's just regular Colombian coffee with some almond creamer, caramel almond creamer. I need to get together this morning. But go ahead, please do share. Let me know where you are watching from. Don't be shy because I see you coming in, and I want to shout you out. So if you shout yourself out, I'll be able to see that you're on, and so I can shout you out as well. And so we're going to move forward into our show this morning. Listen, I am so excited. Hey, Dr. Chella, drinking water. Listen, we all need a little water. I know there's some water in my coffee, but I know that we need to drink more. I know I need to drink more water. I don't know about y'all. I need to drink more water. But I'm so excited to introduce our guest this morning. And listen, when I saw that Reverend Derek had a color book, I'm like, yes, I need to have you on Inspire. So we are honored to welcome a dynamic leader, artist, and advocate whose work inspires and challenges us to reimagine faith, creativity, and justice. Reverend Derek Terry is a pastor, an entrepreneur, and social justice champion based in Cincinnati, Ohio, serving as the senior pastor of St. Peter's United Church of Christ, which is a diverse and inclusive congregation dedicated to community engagement and equity. Beyond the public, Reverend Terry is a passionate advocate for LGBTQIA+ inclusion as the program director for the Open and Affirming Coalition. But his impact doesn't stop there. He's also an artist and entrepreneur, using his gifts to create meaningful art, apparel, and literary works that spark conversation and uplift marginalized voices. And so recently, last year, he released the Vibrant Voices coloring book, Coloring the Stories of Black Visionaries. And it's a stunning 136-page collection celebrating Black excellence through our history, art, and education. His work reminds us that creativity is a tool of liberation and storytelling is an act of resistance. From sharing his personal story on Ileana Fixed My Life to using his platform to spread messages of love, hope, and justice, Reverend Terry embodies what it means to live authentically and boldly. And so get ready for a conversation that I am sure will challenge, uplift, and inspire. And as we welcome Reverend Derek, let's take a look. This video he did last year for Black History Month, I believe. And I found it and I'd say, yeah, I think it's appropriate for today or for the climate that we are now living in. Let's take a look as we get ready to speak with Reverend Derek.
Here are 3 contradictions in the Black community. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Number 1, Aunt Jemima. Yes, she was a racist trope, but why did she get the boot after the ugliness of 2020? Amid the chaos of the pandemic, the murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, we called for reparations and justice. Instead, in the years since, we've lost affirmative action and continue to lose programs fighting for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Maybe capitalism should have put its power over there instead of taking away Aunt Jemima. 2, patriotism. We are not waving that flag. Why? Slavery. But We stand for Barack and Michelle. And if you sang the national anthem, I mean sang the national anthem, like Whitney did, we're here for it. But let's be real. We don't have to pledge allegiance to the same flag that dons slave ships. And shout out to Colin Kaepernick for showing us that true patriots can kneel. Number 3, education. It is not our job to educate non-Black people on racism. There's a ton of resources out there for independent study. We don't have to teach you. But if you mess up, we will call you out and read you accordingly. Now, this is not a full list. Black people, let me know what you think.
It's not a full list. Black people, let me know what you think. That last part right there, I said, well.
I forgot about that video. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Good morning, Reverend Derek. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Hanging in there. Happy Black History Month to you. Happy Black History 365 days of the year to you.
Amen. Happy Black History Month to you as well. It's so good to see your face.
It's good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us today. You know, we got to kick it off with what are you sipping on?
Coffee.
Ooh, what kind? Oh, wait. I need to put this. Because I love this cup when he showed it earlier.
Here we go. It's my SpongeBob imagination. That's how he says it. And so I love African coffee. I think this is Rwandan, and it's been a rough week, so there is sugar in it and a little cream. But yeah, everyday coffee. Every day.
Every day. And you know, you're right. It has been a rough week.
Out.
It's been a rough month,
year. Can we say
year?
Yeah. It is. This is the longest year ever.
And so, you know, I'm sharing with you, and you know, of course, I'm always transparent on my show that it was I had to press through to do this broadcast today because I haven't been feeling very inspired. Right. But I also realized that doing this show, this is part of my creativity. And so if we are leaning into our art, if we're leaning into our creativity as an act of resistance, as an act of protest, then the show must go on.
Absolutely.
Right. We cannot allow what's going on in our world. We cannot allow this climate to stop us from doing the things. And you talked about you being intentional about doing things that bring you joy.
Yep.
Right. And so we can't let what's happening externally, right, stop us from doing the things that bring us joy. Right?
Absolutely. And we got to be
intentional. Forgetting that joy yet exists, right?
Exactly.
That joy is always present. Joy is always there. All right. We just have to tap into it. And so I thank you for being my first guest of 2025 and bringing your own brand of joy with you.
Bless you. I'm glad to be here. So yeah, I'm excited.
I see all of you coming in. So thank you again for joining us. Quita is here. Good morning, love. Hey, Chuck Hunt. Good morning. Coming in, checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. Thank you, Chuck. You always support us. And Gotten Huggins. I think that's one of your folk.
Man, maybe yeah. You too.
Listen, if I pronounce that wrong, please forgive me. Is it Goten or Gotten?
I'm streaming on YouTube and my Facebook page.
Yeah. So that's from YouTube.
Yeah.
And you say, yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Thank you for joining us. Again, if you're on, please go ahead and share this out. Hey, Larry, 2_O on Instagram. Thank you for joining us as well. Go ahead and share this out with your family and your friends. So we're going to get into our conversation with Reverend Derek, and he is giving away a copy of that coloring book that we're going to talk about a little bit later, Vibrant Voices. You see there on your screen. Let me put it up.
Yep.
Do it again. We're going to be giving away a copy of this along with 2 packs of what do you say? 2 packs of crayons?
No, the coloring pencils. So
coloring pencils.
The Crayola Colors of the World for the skin tones, and just the regular Crayola colored pencils. So yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much, Reverend Derek. So if you want to win a copy of this coloring book and those 2 packs of coloring pencils, please put the hashtag inspire. Please put the hashtag inspire. And yes, I'm also going to put how you can purchase that coloring book, how you can purchase it as well, because we want to support. We want to support Reverend Derek in this endeavor. But if you want to win one, you might want to win it. And even if you don't color yourself, you want to give it away, please put the hashtag inspire in the chat, and we will be sure to include you in the drawing for our coloring book giveaway today. So, Reverend Derek, you're a pastor, you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you're a social justice advocate. Pretty much you do it all. I feel like when someone does it all, I always compare them to I always make them an honorary Jamaican because
In living color, absolutely.
you're from Yard too. We're bestowing you the honor of being from Yard. So when people ask, what do you do? How do you begin to answer that question?
So I used to be like most Americans and talked about what I did for work, right? The occupation. And now I lead with I usually say I'm a creative, um, because that just embodies so much of who I am, of what I do. I I have ADHD. I'm all over the place. It is it's just all over the place. It's so I have all of these outlets, and I've just been really blessed to have a life that offers multiple streams of outlet for my creativity, multiple streams of income. And yeah, so that's what I usually say is a creative. And then once people get to know me, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a pastor. Oh, I didn't know you could draw. Oh, I didn't know that." It was like it's like, "Dang, who are you?" And so yeah, that's me.
So yeah, so I went, of course, when I went looking for a video to introduce you with, I also went to your art page, and I had no idea. So I watched all the reels of you actually drawing, and said, I didn't know that I didn't know that this was part of your creativity because, of course, we met in a business capacity,
Exactly.
and so I did not know that side of you, and so I'm grateful that just as the divine is this so multifaceted, right? That we have many layers to us, and we have many outlets that we can tap
Absolutely.
into, and in how we bestow our gifts, our giftedness,
Yes.
right? We give all of our gifts to the world, and all of those gifts not only help us, but they help others. So thank you for saying yes to uh, giving the world all of you.
Bless you. And it's so weird because it was such an intentional thing for me, like
Mhm,
to learn art. It started during COVID because I was like, if I'm home all day, every day, I need something.
mhm.
And I thought that art was something that you either could do like intuitively or you couldn't. Like I've seen people that could just draw, and I'm like, oh, they're just good at it. I didn't think of it as something you could learn. And I first started trying to learn the harmonica. That did not work. Then I said, because it's loud and messy. I was like, okay, I can play the piano, but this is too much. So I said, I'm gonna try to learn drawing. And I've always been like creative with the like graphic design stuff.
Mhm,
And I would
mhm.
play around with, like Procreate, but I said, hey, this could be a cheap thing, just a pencil and a piece of paper. And now, of course, 5 years later, I have like a room full of art supplies and all kinds of stuff. It is not cheap at all. But yeah, it was just really intentional. Like I really set out to learn how to draw and
Yeah,
paint.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're so grateful that you did. So many people were first introduced to you through your courageous journey on Ayanya Fix My Life. That was back like a decade ago, right? That was back in 2015. And so when you look back at that experience, how would you say that it has shaped who you are today? How has it shaped your ministry, your activism, and your art?
So Iyanla was the hardest thing. Doing Iyanla Fix My Life was probably the hardest thing I ever have done in my life. to go on national television and to be so vulnerable. Um, but it's probably the thing that I am most grateful that I did. And like college and all that was cool. But before Iyanla, I wasn't speaking to my mother. Like
Mhm.
we were not talking. I didn't go to Thanksgiving that year before because we had this big blow up about me being queer. And I went to Christmas because I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna miss Christmas." And we were fake. Like, oh hey, we everybody played nice. It was Christmas. And then again, we didn't talk. And the producers on the island called me for a month, kept trying to get me. They had this idea, we're going to do this the whole season about, queerness in the church. We're going to have 6 Black gay pastors who are going to come out and, help them with their families. And I kept saying, oh, that's awesome, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it every single day. I'm not, because of what, just so much of what that means. And so finally agreeing to do it, there were 6 pastors, 4 dropped out, ended up only being 2. And I got hate, I got all kinds of crazy stuff. To this day, I can tell when it's on TV or when somebody's watching it. But because of that, 10 years ago, it completely changed the trajectory of my ministry, completely gave me a voice and an activism. When you've made yourself so vulnerable, I kept saying when I was doing this, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be true, I'm going to be authentic, I'm going to live in this experience because I want it to be real. Because, like, what's the point of going through all this snot nose crying on national TV if it's not real? And it
Yeah.
changed. So when I go to stuff, people come up to me all the time, like, oh my God, I have a ministry because I saw you on TV and thought, okay, God does love me. Okay, I can do this. So it changed everything. And once you've been so vulnerable in such a public way, then you're not afraid to step out of your comfort zone. So
Mhm.
so we talk about like what does that mean for my activism? What does that mean for my art, for my ministry? It's taken away that fear of, well, what if people reject me? Or what if people don't like me? Or what if people do that?
Mhm.
I've done the hardest thing. Like there were 3 Saturday night episodes of Iyanla that the first that season, it was the first 3 episodes, and each episode got bigger and bigger audience. So by the time when I literally came out into my community, there was over 1 million people watching like
Mhm.
that night. Not to mention, repeats and all that. And I'm like, so once you've done that, you're just like the fears, the insecurities. It's like I've been hated before. I've been threatened before. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to hear is like do the hardest thing.
Do the hardest thing and have the right
Do the-
people. Like
Yeah.
when it was airing, my people came to my house and brought fried chicken and Kool-Aid and biscuits and we watched together and they loved on me and they supported me. Like do the hard thing with your people.
Listen, listen. And that's a pastoral care in a sense, like get the village, right?
Absolutely.
Taking care with fried chicken and Kool-Aid. That's so
Exactly.
black. I love it.
You can't get no more Black history. He was like, man, what's your way to bring? And I was like, I don't care. He said, well, I'm gonna bring some chicken. I was like, perfect.
Wait, was it what was it? The red Kool-Aid?
I think it might have been blue.
Oh, the
You
blue
know, like the
Kool-Aid.
color. I was
Okay.
about to say, red, blue, purple. Color is flavor.
I love us. I love us. We know how to. There's sometimes where we it's questionable, but for the most part, we know how to gather together to love on and take care of each other, to
Absolutely.
get us through sometimes. So I love us. So let's talk about your project. Let's talk about Vibrant Voices, this coloring book. What inspired you to create this beautiful celebration of Black history?
More than anything, a few years ago, the buzzword or the buzz acronym was CRT, critical race theory. When I started, people kept critical race theory, CRT is taking over schools, it's doing this, it's doing that. And so I started to see this swell of a push back against our stories of our history. And fast forward, so I started this project 2 years ago because it took me that long to do all of the drawings. They're really, really detailed. I'll show you in a second, but it took me that long to do all the drawings. And I was like, people are going to need resources. I came from a church and a home that didn't rely on the schools to educate me of what I needed to know to be a Black man. So my grandmother would send off to Ebony, would have like books by Lerone Bennett Jr., before the Mayflower and all these like Black books. And remember the Eye on the Prize videos that, used to be a TV commercial that talked about Black history. So we had all these things that were supplemented to the education that I was getting. And at church, we celebrated Black History Month all year round. We had a retired history teacher in our church who was our historian, who made sure she put James Baldwin in my hand for the first time. And she taught Martin Luther King wasn't just a dreamer, but he was a theologian, and he was radical, and he was pushing for economic change and for poor people. So that was just like in me. So I kept seeing all these people complain about what the schools weren't teaching. And I was like, have they ever? So what I wanted to do was to create a resource that churches and families and schools that would have it could have something tangible to start conversations and to talk about stuff. And so that's where it came about. And it took a long time. It's a thick book. There's 62 images, and each image has a story of that image and of that situation, that person, that point in history. And then there's a response of what we can learn from this person. So the whole idea is to start conversations.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I want to see some of those pages in a minute. But how did you decide? Like, what inspired your decision to say this is the person, this is the figure that I want to highlight? This is the moment, right, in Black history that I want to feature. How did you decide which one of those to include in the book? And were there any stories in particular? Because I know you had also do some research, right? Were there any stories in particular that surprised you during your research?
Absolutely. So that was the hard part, is what goes in the book. Because what I was trying to.
Oh wait, I think your book is on your mic.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
I can hear you better now.
Okay. So yeah, that was the hard part, was what goes in the book. Because like I said, I have ADHD, so it's really easy for me to, like, I think I started with 20 something images and then I ended up with 62. So it's really easy for me to get down rabbit holes. So I wanted to include a whole scope of Blackness. I wanted to include people that were no longer with us. That was important. Like people who had passed. I wanted to include artists and performers, but also intellectuals and clergy people. And it was really important for me to include queer people and people of trans experience in history. So, and not just people, but stories and times in history. So like the Birmingham Children's Crusade from 1963. That was really important because I was thinking I wanted this to be an intergenerational tool. So like I envisioned me sitting down with my 10-year-old niece and we're coloring a page. I wanted to include people that we would be familiar with, like a Rosa Parks, a Martin Luther King, and then people that we may not be as familiar with. I wanted to honor people's queerness, but then also tell the truth if perhaps because of history they weren't able to be out in the way that we are able to be out now. And I wanted their queerness to be normal. Like, this person was queer. One of the stories that really surprised me, and I am going to show you that image, was a story of Frances Thompson. We didn't have the word trans in the 1800s, but she would have been a trans person. She was assigned male at birth. She lived her life as a woman in Memphis, Tennessee. And she was the first trans person that we can see in history that spoke to Congress. She testified before Congress and she talked about the injustice that she received in Memphis as a Black person. And I mean, just think of the boldness that
Mhm.
that took. So here's the image of her. Again,
Uh-huh.
person of trans experience. So, she's got on her period attire. She only lived to be about 30 years old. It broke my heart, but I wanted to share that. So on one side is the image, on the other side is the story of of that person. I also included Coretta Scott King as a woman, not just as the wife of Martin Luther King. She was a singer. A lot of people didn't know that. And not only was she a singer, she performed concerts that raised money for the movement all throughout her relationship with Dr. King. And she is credited with teaching him some of the ideologies that he stood on. And she wasn't just the passive wife raising the kids. She would challenge him and she would push him. And so it was really important that I included that. So she's a familiar figure for a lot of us. And after he passed, she continued to do all kinds of work, including being a really strong, really early advocate for queer people when a lot of folk, especially Black folk, weren't advocating for queer people. She was one of the first on that level to do that. So yeah, there's all kinds of stories in there.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thinking about our current climate, right? The dismantling of DEI, the taking out of of our history out of the school. Like this book is so important, and I'm grateful that it's more than, hey, let me just sit down and color. Like
Right,
you literally give individuals a lesson on the other side of it. So they are learning while they are leading into their art and creativity at the same time, and that's what helps us stick. So for those of us that have ADHD, right, because it's so late, you're that creativity and along with that's what helps it to stick, especially for children, especially for children. Thank you for sharing that. Chuck Hunt says there are Black spaces that talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but are reluctant about talking about Bayard Rustin, James Baldwin, Audre Lorde, and others because of their sexual orientation. We are guilty in our own race of excluding our own because of sexual orientation or other differences. That is completely right, Chuck. Thank you so much for sharing that. Listen, you are hanging out with us on Inspire. If you joined us late, we are in conversation with the amazing Reverend Derek Terry, and we have kicked off our month of celebrating inspired Black excellence, and we're talking about this amazing coloring book that he created. And so you have the opportunity to win a copy of this coloring book along with some coloring pencils. And so if you're interested, please do me a favor, put the hashtag inspire, put that down in the chat for your chance to win a copy of this 136 page color. This is not a flimsy book, y'all.
can you see? It is. It's pretty thick.
It's thick, thick.
Uh, it is. It's pretty thick.
It's thick, thick, right? So I was going to say something else, but let me just say one.
And I will say
We
that
like to.
Chuck mentioned Bayard Rustin and James Baldwin, Audre Lorde. So I've done Audre Lorde coloring pages for Women's History Month, but in the book, Bayard Rustin and James Baldwin are both in the book as well.
Mm, mm, This is, oh gosh, I can't wait to get my hands on one. I see you, Bishop Bonnie. Thank you so much for joining us,
I
and
met
thank you
these
for entering the drawing. I see all of you on Instagram. Hey, Arthur Danny. Listen, the people are here. The people are here. Hey, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Listen, if you want to join in on the giveaway, please put that hashtag inspire. And so you could be included in the drawing. I've also included the way to purchase the book because we also want to support Reverend Derek. And so part of doing that is buying a copy of the book. I put that link in. He has also put that link in. Please go ahead and click that link to purchase a copy of the book. Even if you win one today, I still encourage you to purchase, because you can give that to your, of course, your children, anybody. It's not even just for children, right? Gift it to someone. We need this to lean into, especially in this climate. So thank you all for joining us, and you can still go ahead and share, even though we've gone on into the program today. So speaking of children, we know that coloring books are often associated with children, right? But yours, as we talked about, is designed to educate and inspire people of all ages. And so what impact do you hope it has, especially on adults who may be reconnecting with history in a creative way?
One of the one of my favorite moments at Christmas, I gave a copy. I have three amazing, smart nieces. Gave them a copy of the coloring book, and one of their relatives on their father's side was sitting there for an hour, flipping through the coloring book, looking at the images, reading the back, and her eyes just lit up. And she was telling people, like, these are my family members, many of whom are like, oh yeah, this is cool. But you know how a prophet is without honor in their own. Like, they're just like, oh, okay, another Derek project. But she's like beaming and, oh my God, this is so good. This is so, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I mean, she's just, learning and flipping. And as we talked about, like, joy, creativity is a form of resistance. Like, how we respond to oppression and marginalization, we've always done it with a flair, with a fashion, the Black Panthers, just look at their attire. Like that it's just Black, but it's beautiful, it's creative, it's different, right? And so creativity is a form of resistance. It's also for me, it's a spiritual practice. So it's like every day I intentionally sit down to make sure that I work that creative muscle. And I do that by drawing, but it's also really cool to jump in the pages. Hit one of the images, I'll share it. This is one that I've colored fully. So it's based on a famous James Van Der Zee photo called The Bow of the Ball. This is in the 1920s. It's a person in drag. And so I sat down it took a few days. I was to say it's really intricate, but just sat down and to play with the colors and see, I wanted to add a little flair to the gloves and make it a little fishnet situation. Like, all of that was fun. It just took me back. And it's also a form of self-care. I purposely, on the inauguration day, which is also MLK Day, when I knew that was coming, I said, I need to do something positive on that day. So I had an online creative party for free. People from literally all over the country came in, and we just sat down and we showed what we were working on creatively, and we talked. And I didn't watch the inauguration, and I played Lo-Fi Girl in the background. And that was self-care. So when the rest of my friends are freaking out, oh my God, this is crazy, all these orders. And of course I saw it the next day. But I was really intentional. Like, self-care is so important. We can't check out completely, but we do need to check in with ourselves every day. It's an amazing spiritual practice, self-care practice.
You can't check out completely, but we must check in with each other, with ourselves
Absolutely.
every day. And so the many of us want to check out, right? Thinking that is, well, some of us desire to check out because we may be, feeling, having feelings of depression or feeling low or whatever. We just want to check out. I know that all too well. But other people want to check out because they feel that checking out is a way of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to cut myself off. And that does more harm than good.
It's dangerous.
Right?
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous. We need to feel. We need to experience. We need to um, go through and push through. That's what helps us, right? In the end, right? That adds to our strength. That adds to our faith. Um, it helps us make it through, right? Inspires our hope, right? That feeling, and it compels us to take action. Anger, yeah, we got to feel all the feels. And when we check out, we don't feel. We numb ourselves,
Yep.
right? And so I love that. That we should be checking in with ourselves. Don't check out, check in. Woo, that's a t-shirt.
Woo. And it's a coloring for me. Art for me is a form of meditation. It's a disconnecting from all the and just focusing. And it's also really good. I've worked with occupational therapists to ask them about nursing homes and all these, like, how important just that motor skill. And if you've ever gone without writing for a long time, when you go back to write, it's like, oh man, those muscles, they start to atrophy a little bit. So I don't want that creativity. I don't want those muscles to ever atrophy. I want to keep to keep checking in with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, Bishop Body said self care. I see you all on Instagram. Listen, so unfortunately, StreamYard does not pick up, because this is how we're streaming. Streaming does not pick up the hashtags on Instagram. So if you're able to, come on over to either YouTube or Facebook. So because I see you putting hashtags on Instagram, come on over to Facebook or YouTube so that we can get those hashtags recorded. Join us on if you're able to join us on another on one of those other platforms. So I'm going to take a quick break because I realized, I'm like, yeah, we didn't take a break because the conversation is just so good. But I want to give Reverend Derek a chance to woosah as well and take another sip of his coffee. So we're going to take a really, really quick break, and then we'll be back with more conversation with the amazing Reverend Derek Terry. So I want to invite you again to connect, follow, like, subscribe. Connect, follow, like, subscribe at Inspired with Sue W right now on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to be adding more platforms as we decipher how to navigate the new normal on social media, some of the platforms that we have come to know and love and build communities on aren't really given what they're supposed to be given right now. And so many of us are looking for ways to still stay connected while we discern whether we are staying on certain social media platforms or moving to something else. So this may change, but so for now, I do want you to follow us on Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and Instagram. Also, if you are so inclined, you're on YouTube, look for Carrot Solutions LLC. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You could also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can find out all about the show. You can watch all of our previous episodes on the website, and you can also subscribe to our mailing list. Listen, we want to stay connected with you. We don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. And so the best way to do that is to subscribe to our newsletter. Are you someone you know on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same? We want to hear from you. We want you or someone that you know to join us in conversation on a future episode. So again, you can visit us on our website at www.getinspired.live to book your appearance today. You can fill out the guest intake right on our website. So head over to that website. If that's you, I invite you to head over to our website and fill out your guest intake. And also, I'm going to do this every time Inspire goes live because we want to support our dear sibling in getting her kidney, Pastor Yanni. You might know her as Pastor Yanni, Reverend Yanni, the Peace Pastor. You might know her in any number of ways, but she needs a kidney donor, right? And she's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, who have the blood types A or O, who have the courage to commit to surgery and save her life. And she'd love to share the safety measures with you. And so you can reach her and her family at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. Or you can also head over to emerylivingdonor.org, fill out the survey, enter her name, Ayana Davis. Now, if you're watching or right now, or if you're listening later on, and you have resources, so you may not be able to donate a kidney or a part of it, but you have resources, right, that you could connect Pastor Yanni to. Please do me a great big favor and send it, inbox me, inbox us at Inspire. You can inbox me directly at Sue A. Webley. You can email us at sue@getinspired.live. Send those resources so that we can forward it over to Pastor Yanni. And so, with that, we are going to get back into some more conversation with Reverend Derek. Welcome back, Reverend Derek.
I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here. And I'm glad to see about you helping Pastor Yanni. One of my best friends in the whole wide world had a kidney transplant about a year and a half ago. And it just seeing how that changed her life. And so I've been really praying for Pastor Yanni.
Yeah, we gotta do this in community. Hey, my dear brother JL, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Inspire today. And so we are celebrating, of course, Black excellence this whole month. And so we talked about joy. That means, recognizing joy, recognizing our power, recognizing our brilliance, right? Reverend Derek, what does Black excellence mean to you? And how do you embody it in your work?
Wow. I think we have to be proud of our history and proud of where we come from. And I think how we develop that pride, one of the ways that we do is to share stories and know stories. I can sit here for hours and tell you stories of people in my family that died before I was born, because we had Sunday dinner at my grandmother's house every Sunday, and she would talk about cousin so and so, or her grandmother, and so all of those type of things, they strengthen us, and it's just such a part of our culture. And the intergenerational, I remember growing up in church, the young people would serve the older people. So if we had dinner, the old people would go sit down. We, the young people, would go to them and say, hey, what would you like to eat? And we would go make their plates and bring them to them. And then we would sit and we would talk. And it was just really, really organic. And so I think that's how, for me, it's the celebration of struggle and story and the beauty and the ugly and what we've been able to do with that. It's cooking the recipes that my Aunt Sally cooked and being proud of bringing that and sharing that, and then also celebrating that in other people. And I encourage other folk to do that. So, I'm in middle age now, and it's really important for me that the next generation gets the stuff that I got, that, those stories. And I'm canning stuff in the summer because I don't want that technology to leave my family. And I'm like, oh, I got to figure out how to make Aunt Sally's yellow cake with caramel icing, because that's important. So yeah, it's all of that for me.
Thank you for sharing. If you have a question for Reverend Derek, because we're winding down, if you have a question, I want to make sure that he has the opportunity to answer that question. So go ahead and post it in the chat. But while you are posting your questions, I'm going to have some rapid fire questions for you. You ready?
So, like, rapid fire means I gotta be like, first thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to your mind.
Oh Lord, I got a dirty mind sometimes. I gotta be like, okay, all right, I'm ready.
Well, hopefully these questions won't lead you to that. But I mean, we don't mind dirty minds here on Inspire.
Hey.
I just need to say, but all right. If you can have dinner with any Black visionary from your book, who would it be and why?
James Baldwin, because he was crazy. Like, absolutely James Baldwin.
Describe your artistic style in 3 words.
Unknown yet. I I it's all over the place. And I think because I'm still new. So yeah, unknown yet, but I'm developing it.
Your go-to hype song when you need a confidence boost. Tell
um
us.
so the first thing that comes to my mind is funny because it's a white artist. It's Eminem, Lose Yourself. Um you better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. Like, and when I saw Barack
It
Obama,
was that.
exactly. When I saw Barack Obama speak those words when he was stumping for Kamala, I lost it. But yeah, that's one of my go-tos.
If you had to survive on only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It shouldn't be this, but it would be fried chicken. And if I
What's
get
your favorite fried chicken? What's your favorite? Do you like to fry it yourself? Do you like
absolute,
to?
I
Oh,
can fry the hell out of some chicken. You can't see it on here, but I got a belly sitting on my lap right now that I've earned. It is a good portion of it is fried chicken, like seasoned flour, cast iron skillet, like
what's one fashion or art trend you wish would make a comeback?
fashion or art trend. I'm like I'm going to say this isn't rapid, but I'm going to say like in back in my day, like I'm talking like middle school, maybe high school, like people would wear these bib overalls, like Tommy Hilfiger, like it'd be an overall with Tommy Hilfiger. We'd have like one thing undone, like Aaliyah did the whole thing, and the girls we walked around and their behinds looking good, swing. It's yeah, I like that. Like with the boots, I don't know, maybe it's because I thought I was cute then. Um, but that like hip hop, sexy farmer thing, thing that was going on.
The hip hop sexy farmer look. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Movie about your life. What would it be called?
Crazy, sexy, cool. I've thought about that before, and that's exactly what it would be because I'm all over the place, but I'll let you guess why crazy, sexy, cool. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you can color outside the lines of any rule in life, which one would it be?
never, ever, ever be normal. Never seek to fit in. Never be quiet in order to make other people feel good about themselves. I am the weird one in my family. I am the black sheep. I am the one who wants to sit and talk feelings and make everybody uncomfortable. I will mess up Thanksgiving and be content because I'm going to do what I need to do to feel good and to yeah, there's no elephant sitting in the room that I'm going to ignore. So yeah, never be normal.
I love it. Never be normal. What's coming up next for you? How can we support?
So I got the coloring book. I'm really trying to no. Let me relanguage that. I am building a movement
Mhm.
of creativity, and we need it now more than ever. I love the digital world, the digital space. I love that we can do this, but I'm really encouraging people to do analog stuff too, like off the computer, like stuff that you can touch, that you can feel. And so I'm encouraging people to, coloring books. I also have, I think I grabbed some. I also have um, at home. I saw call them at home, but coloring painting projects that you can do. So like here's an MLK and Coretta. So you get one of these kits from my website and you get all the tools in a video that you can follow that you can paint and sip or whatever at home to create this image. Yeah, you get all the stuff. And I have like Dr. King on a bike. A new one I've just released is Marsha P. Johnson. And so I'm really trying, not, I keep, let me relanguage. I'm really creating a movement for people to tap into their creativity. And everybody, and a lot of people will say, oh, I can't paint, I can't do this. Just have fun. As long as you're having fun, you're doing it right. If you're stressing over it, if you're freaking out over it, you're that's what's wrong. So just have fun. So that's what I'm doing, is creating opportunities for people to tap into their creativity, and also creating resources. That's what I'm working on, resourcing progressive churches. The conservative church has so many resources available for their churches and for their families to use. And the progressive church, we have not done the work of creating enough tools and curricula and videos. That's why I tell people, create stuff. Don't just get mad. Create videos and put them on your YouTube and put them on your Facebook and put them on, whatever, if you're doing TikTok, whatever that's doing, because people need those resources. And so that's what I'm doing, building a movement. This year in the fall, I hope to launch a publishing company that offers all of these types of things, and some things that I create, some things that other people create, that we can properly resource people.
Thank you so much. I already put your website in the chat. And so we want you to be sure to head over to www.derekterry.com to find out all about this amazing person, all about the Vibrant Voices coloring book and how you can purchase it. That link is right in the chat. But we also want to give you an opportunity to win it. Okay, we want you to win this this coloring book. So if you have not put the hashtag inspire in there yet, go ahead and do it right now. I want to give you 3 seconds to put that in. Go ahead and put it in. And listen, I even if you don't want to color yourself, go ahead and put it in. You can win it and give it to someone you believe would benefit from this amazing book. And also purchase. It is $25. Let us support Reverend Terry. So we have 2 entries, so let's go ahead and do our drawing.
I've never seen that before. That is dope.
Oh, got a third one. Oh, y'all getting it? Oh. All right, Trisha. Let me tell you something. Trisha, hey sis, just put it in while it was rolling.
I saw that. It's never too late.
It was meant for you to win. Trisha, do me a favor, inbox me with your address. I think I already have it, but go ahead and inbox me anyway. Make sure I have it, and I will get that to Reverend Terry so that he can send you that coloring book. Thank you for joining us today, all of you. I've been inspired, and I feel so much better having spoken with Reverend Derek, having hung out with all of you on social media. If you are going to catch this in the replay and you have questions for Reverend Derek, please post them. We'll make sure that he still gets those questions even in the replay. And so as we prepare to leave this place, so never from the divine's presence, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to continue to stay motivated, continue to stay lifted, and most of all, I want you to continue to stay inspired. Love you much. I look forward to seeing you again next week.